Go, Gadget PLUStainment Show.
Oh,
Rappaport
we're on. Here you
here.
go.
Hey, Jane, we're on.
Hey.
We're live.
Yes, we are.
Greek chicken salad?
We do love the Greek chicken salad, don't we?
It's healthy.
It is. It's delicious.
Don't talk with your mouth full.
So, it's
Hey,
supposed
Jane,
to
how are
be
you?
60 tomorrow. How are you? I love that mug.
Vegas!
I just drank out of my Aruba mug.
I guess
Angie
Jamaica will be next. Bermuda, Bahamas.
In
that order.
Angie got me an Aruba mug. So.
Oh, did she?
Yes, she did, because she likes me better.
Angie's in Aruba. Angie, person of interest, is in Aruba.
Yes, she is.
I need to move some like that way. Let's go.
But it's supposed to be in the 60s here
That
today,
is a heat
tomorrow.
wave.
And then it's going to be really, really cold. Just thought I'd throw that out there because for some reason I truly am fascinated by the weather.
I think a lot of people are fascinated.
And I can't really explain it except everyone experiences it, and maybe that's why it's a universal thing. But that's one of the first things that my family, well, when I say my family, I really just mean my mom. But if someone else is in the room, they will also ask the question. Like, so what's the weather? Because,
well, it's the deal. It's small talk. It's easy to say, oh, it's cold outside.
Well, I know it's small talk, but I actually want to know.
I think that most people are like, do you think some people just ask to do small?
I think
some
people
it's in the middle. I think it's in the middle.
Well,
you can't really offend.
You?
Actually, that would be a funny skit if we did a skit. If you did a skit where you offended people by asking the most inoffensive things, like
that would be funny.
Yeah, like how's the weather? What's it to you? Shut up! What are you talking about? Did you say weather?
See, when I ask you if it's snowing, I could Google it, sure, but I actually want to know, and I want to see your weather. But usually, I can see out your window, so I have that option.
You can? Wow.
Yeah, I can. Didn't you know?
Stretch.
Well,
they stretch.
Sort of.
My friend brought up an interesting point. She was saying that speaking of offensive stuff, and this is a touchy issue, is it offensive to refer to people by what they are, like, oh, my black mailman, or my gay hairstylist, or, it depends on the way you do it and the situation, but, that's interesting, right? If someone said, hey, Jane, she's that white blonde chick, you wouldn't care, right?
I wouldn't care at all.
So that's why, what do you think? Do you think that people are too sensitive about that kind of stuff, or?
I can see it. I can see it both ways. For instance, if
we just offended somebody because we just lost a viewer, they're like, we thought we were talking about television.
Well, yeah, but sometimes it's ridiculous. Let's say you are in a room full of 6'7" redheads with mustaches, and
which is a common thing for me.
Yeah,
by the way.
And I'm trying to describe you to someone and you've grown a mustache as well. Okay, I don't know why I threw in the mustaches. I got distracted. And so I said, well, he has a mustache, and his hair isn't red.
You go to the bathroom?
I'm rocking. I don't know why I'm rocking. Oh, I just had a whole lot of coffee. And I'm not really going anywhere with that. I guess the point is, it's like
everything you just said makes
it doesn't make any sense.
Dumber.
I wouldn't be offended if you said it's the white.
Hey, Dutch, get over here.
I wouldn't be offended. But I guess some people are because they say, why do you have to start with race? I have heard that. Why do you start with race?
Well,
why do you start with fat or thin?
If someone says, but if someone's like, oh, so actually I was at Starbucks the other day and I was asking about a specific barista or employee, because I guess they're all baristas. They all do everything.
Yeah.
And I don't think she's heavy, but everyone there is pretty small, so
did you
I was not the one. She wasn't there. I was not the one to say she was heavy. I was saying, she's a ponytail and she's bubbly and sarcastic, something like that. And they were like, they couldn't figure it out, and then the girl went like this, like do you mean well, she's not really that big, and she's like, I guess technically, she's bigger than this girl, because this girl was like a stick figure, so it must suck, I guess. Everyone's sensitive about their weight, but anyway, Great story. So the SAG Awards were on last night, and I saw some of them last night. Yeah, I had to think about what night it was. And
anyone really watch those except you?
yeah, well, I think the SAG Awards are coming around. I mean, a lot of people didn't watch the Golden Globes. That's newer. That's a newer phenomenon. I don't think a lot of people did.
I can't believe I just had the most stupid rambling remark about what you said when, in my head, it's quite clear.
Well, you had a busy day. You used your brain cells a lot today, and you know, it's understandable. It is.
I do want to say something clear, though. I think because it really bugs me that I sounded like such a.
It really grinds my gears.
It really does grind my gears that I sounded like an idiot. But
I think, don't be so hard on yourself.
I think some people feel that too many times might use an ethnic slur, no matter what the ethnicity is. Or, you know, it's the Guido, it's the this, it's the that, it's the Polak, or whatever. Because it's a stereotype. I think they're pointing out stereotypes. I think maybe that's the issue. Maybe. Because I'm just as much a stereotype as anyone else. But sometimes...
If it's a stereotype, but if you're a black mailman,
yeah, if you're the only black guy, it's like... And it's like, well, he's the black guy because I don't actually know his name. But that kind of narrows it down when you know there are only 3 mail carriers. One's the Asian one, one's the black one, and one's the one with the long hair who's, I don't know what he is. And it's like, what? This narrowed it down. But maybe people are so interwoven, they don't want to be called anything. Maybe that's what it is.
Well, there is also like that thing where you're like, oh,
maybe I just don't know.
Where you might say, you know, if you're, well, I don't know, maybe I'll say, oh, that's so and so, and that's my black friend. You know, I don't know.
And if you're saying it's the gay someone this and the gay someone that, well, what if they're not gay, and what if they don't want to be identified like that?
Right.
And what does it mean? Oh, you can tell they're gay by the way they look.
It's such a shanda. It's a crick in the neck, and it's a lot.
I don't know.
But just be known as you. Hey, you. That shit.
Yeah. But yeah, white blonde chick, I could care less.
Yeah, I think it also comes down to who it is and what their experience has been like, and you know, I think that if you say, hey, it's the Asian guy, or hey, it's...
I've been known as ugly fat girl for most of my life. No, seriously. So, what else do you want to call me? Stupid? Good luck with that.
Call you maybe. So the SAG Awards were on last night. I did not get to watch all of them. They don't really have hosts, but it does turn out...
They have hosts? What?
They don't really have hosts.
I'd like to volunteer.
Okay. But they talk about how they got the SAG card, and Jennifer Lawrence got her SAG card doing Sweet 16 promo spots, which I didn't realize. Yes, I put up a video about it. And so that was interesting. And then Jane, what's her name? Jane from Krakowski from 30 Rock. Mm-hmm. She talked about hers about, I forgot exactly what she said.
Commercials, maybe?
Yeah, but she said something funny. Oh, she said, that she was like the niece in one of the Vacation movies, and in 2 years she can play Chevy Chase's wife, and in 4 years she'll be able to play his mother. So
that's funny.
That's what she said.
So, what got you your SAG card? Because I'm SAG cardless.
Oh, I got my SAG card. It's kind of exciting and boring at the same time, and I believe I've told the story. I was busting my butt, going to everything I could as far as auditions that I could find, and one of these things was for A Beautiful Mind. Now, when you see something in these papers, you don't know what's like crappy, what's not, but you know, I think they said Ron Howard or whatever, so you're like, all right, it's a movie, and I'd done some background work before, so I'm just like, whatever, you know, you never know. This is back in 2001 or 2000, something like that. Yeah. And so, basically, at these kind of large casting calls, it was someone from LA that came over to the East Coast to do this, to cast the movie. And I don't know if you saw Beautiful Mind, a lot of people did. There are a lot of young people in the movie, and a lot of young people just don't have their SAG card, and there's certain rules about how many SAG people you need. Mm-hmm. So, you need, as a background actor, you need to get 3 waivers. You did, to get in. And it's hard to just get one waiver.
For those who don't know, explain what a waiver is.
A waiver is basically you're hired. It's not a waiver. it's they hire you for the day and pay you as a SAG member, even though you are not for that day, and they could do only so many, but it costs them so much money. But they have requirements based on what the union says. So you're basically being a SAG person that day. So when I got the phone call, I was waiting tables here in Queens before I got to Manhattan at Pizzeria Uno. Yeah, I did that. And the guy said to me, "Hey, you want to be in a movie?" And I was like, "Okay, what am I doing?" "What are you doing?" "You're gonna be in a movie. You're gonna be in a movie. It's gonna be big. You're gonna be Ron Howard." I was like, "Oh, okay, but well, I don't know. I have to check my schedule. I have to see. I'll let you know." It's like, "You have to see. You have to. What do you mean? You have to check your schedule? It's a movie." I was like, "Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I might have work." He's like, "All right, I'll give you a waiver. Like, you busted my ball," or something like that. I was like, and I wasn't searching for anything. I was just, at that point, I had been going to everything. I've been doing everything I could to get work. In fact, my very first job was an extra gig, which paid nothing, and I sat on the street in Manhattan. I got there at 7:30 with two other guys, and we were sitting on a stoop. It was summer, so it wasn't cold, but we were sitting there from 7:30 p.m. until about 3 in the morning. And we got some food, but not much. We were basically hanging out. That was the gig. And eventually, we went upstairs and did this extra. We shot this like thing really quickly. It was in this movie that not many people saw called Never Again, with Jeffrey Tambor and the late Jill Clayburgh. Hey now. And I got to see them. I didn't physically talk to them. He's really tall, and she was really small. Anyway, so, based on that experience and based on some other experiences, I was like, it wasn't, being extra is cool, and don't get me wrong, you can make a living, and you're on set and could meet people, but
It's
the
better to be
chances
crew.
of going anywhere, like being on set is only happening, it could. There are times where I got to be featured more because I was on set, but it wasn't like they gave me a line or something, it's nothing like humongous. Anyway, so not to, belittle it, but, and I think extras have a hard job, and
Yeah, it is a hard
they
job.
are underappreciated, and for the amount of money that the budget for these movies, the background actors, as they like to be called, sometimes they do more, sometimes they do less, but either way, a lot of people might say, "Oh, it's great to get paid to sit around and do nothing," but it's you wake up really early, you bring stuff, and this is you're talking about a movie that has a budget of millions of dollars. So when you're doing extra work, it could be really tedious. It drains your energy. They can have you sitting around all day, and then they need you to be like, run around or walk around or wheel a thing of beer, or at any point, and you have to be as good or be on as you can. So as they do, I make every story longer. So basically, I got 2 days of work on Beautiful Mind, so I got 2 waivers, and I was like, yeah, I was excited. I was like, wow, I got 2 waivers. I'm almost going to be in the union, only a year or so out of school. I was excited about that because there was this thing, like, the stigma. I had learned even in the first year that if you're in SAG, I used to call it Special Actors Guild, make fun of it, because all the people that were in SAG got all these like special treatment. They got paid more. They got food to eat first. They got whatever they wanted. It seemed like a dream, and it seemed that way because when I was first breaking in, most of the background that were SAG, they were older. They'd been in business forever, so they had stories and all that. But as more and more younger people got in and time went by, the union, even though we joined with AFTRA, got weaker, I think, because especially for background actors. And anyway, so I got the 2 waivers, and then I thought I didn't think I was getting a third one, and I get a call for a third one, and I did have to work that night. And he's like, he literally said, "It's your lucky day. A SAG kid or someone broke his leg or hurt his leg, and I need someone, so I need you for this 3rd day." And so how could I pass up the chance to get that 3rd one and join the union? And so I told work sorry. They were mad, and whatever. I did it, and I got my 3rd thing. And then to join the union, it was a lot of tables that I needed to work to $1,284 to join the union at that time, which seems like a lot of money, but I think today it's like $3,000. So, a decade later or more than that. And what has it done? It's gotten me a lot.
And for those who don't know, then you have to pay a portion of your salary every year.
And so it used to be something like, if you worked a little bit, it used to be like somewhere between $40 and $66 or something. But now the two unions merged together, and a lot of people paid a lot of money to join both unions. And one way is you could join after for free and then earn so many points and then get into SAG. But that was, I mean, I guess I'm lucky that I got after 2 now, but it's one union, not 2. So I could do after jobs, but after jobs pay less money, less people use it. But now that it's SAG after, everything is SAG after instead of one or the other, which makes sense. But it got me, you know, more extra jobs, more stand-in work. I got to be on more sets, and you know, I got to vote in the SAG Awards, and I was on the committee. I got to, you know, go to screenings, and I met Daniel Day-Lewis and Paul Thomas Anderson, which was cool, and things like that. But ultimately, you know, and I occasionally made more money, but I thought just having a SAG card was going to, especially in New York, maybe not LA, but I thought, oh, it's going to open all these doors for me, and everything was going to happen. And I thought, I really went out and was thinking, oh, you know, I've SAG. But the thing is, I have SAG on my resume, but I don't. All I have is the stand-in or the background or the stand-in work. I have theater, and I have indie film, but I don't have, like, you know, I got my SAG card because I was like newsboy number 2 and, like, you know, I don't know, like Better Off Dead or whatever. You know, I didn't have something like, not that. And even that would have been people, you really have to impress people. It's like, you could have had a whole scene in a movie, you could have had 10 lines in a movie, and they'd be like, oh, you were a clerk? All right, great. You know, it's crazy like that. But
is that why you stopped going on auditions?
Well, what happened is, I knew this would happen, is once I started waiting tables in Manhattan, I got into it, and you literally go into Manhattan just to go back and forth is a lot, and then you're there all day waiting tables. And at the beginning, I tried to sneak in auditions, but it's just to, you know, bring all the clothes, the nice clothes, somehow get into the audition, and then I joined Equity, and that I thought that would be different, and I did a couple auditions, and I almost got a children's theater gig, which I had been called back for previously. But I don't know, just something. The whole audition process is not something I enjoy. It's not something that I think makes anyone be their best. Auditioning itself is a skill, and you could have the most talent and be the world's greatest actor and be right for so many things, but you're just terrible at auditioning. And I don't think I was terrible at it, but there's so many pieces to it, and presenting such a package overall to them, that when you come in there, somebody out of the thousands of people or hundreds of people they've seen has given them, like, everything from head to toe, everything, and they just, it's really, it's kind of a bitch in that way. So, and you wait online, especially if you're singing, and it's
So when you went to audition for singing, what did you usually do? I assume it was from a few pieces you already had.
Yeah, I had a whole book. I did a vocal coach. This PLUStainment Show turned into the Rappaport Show.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And you know, I really, it's, you learn.
What did you sing?
Oh, I sang a lot of stuff. I sang stuff from Little Shop of Horrors.
Like what? Name it.
I sang.
You're being a very difficult guest.
What? I didn't know we were gonna go into all this.
Well, we are. We are now.
I sang Skid Row, a little 16 bars of that, downtown Skid Row, and I sang "Grow for Me," and I love singing "Free." That was, people liked it. Went from "Funny Thing That Happened Away to the Forum." People liked that one. I had a couple of ballads I wasn't crazy about. I had a lot of stuff in my book. Some Billy Joel, and you know, the Free song got me called back. Usually I got ahead with the Free song because it was funny, but then they wanted me to sing a ballad, and I can sing operatic, but I just didn't have the right song, and I think after doing it for a decent number of years, you know, I eventually had a vocal coach that would play for auditions and he would get me in, but I think that the idea that it was almost like they were doing him a favor, like letting me audition. And a lot of times people sounded like I was great, but they would say, oh, we would love you, you're great, but we already have your type. We have too many of your types. There's too many schlocky Jewish New York boys here. We don't need another one.
There are too many New York Jews?
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't say that, but I'm paraphrasing. And who knows if it was true or not. But, so that, yeah, it's tough like that. And you really learn that after auditioning and everything, you learn that even if I got Broadway, even if I got a part of the movie, you can get a part of the movie, you can get a Broadway gig, and then never get one again. And so...
Or you can get it and do it and have it get cut.
Or it can be cut. Yeah, lots of things. So, ideally, meeting people, making your own stuff. I mean, if you look at a lot of people that have been successful, they've made their own movie, their own stuff. Even Affleck and Damon, I think, they wrote Good Will Hunting, and Vin Diesel did some film that he made where he was able to get Saving Private Ryan that way. And so it's really about going out there and making your own stuff happen. I made a movie, Yoko Shimono, about a mime and a therapist, and I'd like to make more. I have a lot of scripts and ideas.
One's about eating Greek salads. Now, I have an idea.
Only one?
I have several. I think it would be very interesting if we chronicled you going on auditions the entire month of February.
Okay, so the only reason why that's difficult is...
It's cold.
No, not just that. But, so, at some point, I let my equity dues pile up, and before I can pay it back down, they took it away. So, I don't know if that means I can't go into the equity building audition. I could go in and try to pay it, but I don't know how that works, and that's a process. So, I really can audition for non-equity in that way, but I could always go online and see what it's like. I don't know. But then again, when you said chronicle, I mean, I'd have to, I guess, video my own stuff, which I could do. But it might be interesting to go to...
You could do you standing in line, because, you know, I've spent my time in line, and I've spent my time in audition rooms, and believe me, it's usually the same mix of people, because you're called for the same, usually, they call the same group of people.
Or sometimes they have no idea what they want, and they have a bunch of people.
But sometimes it depends. But everyone always wants to be on camera.
I could go on an audition where I have no plans to audition and just talk to people and say, hey, I don't know if I have to bring release forms and.
So that's a thought.
Maybe.
That could be fun.
Everyone to join me eating.
Yes. Well, I certainly am. So that's an idea.
Well, that's good. Stephanie Wanamaker's watching. Oliver Powell, Dee Cleverly, and a bunch of other.
Don't you think that Matt should go and audition all
people would love that. I should, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know about
February. It's different in Tennessee because Tennessee is a right-to-work state, and so when I go on stuff, it's a right-to-work state. It's a special thing. Now there's SAG work, but the law is different.
But I wouldn't be so most of the I have to look at Backstage. I'll look online right now. Actually, I could look, but most
go
of
to
it,
All Access, man. I mean, in All Access, there's all sorts of stuff. Always.
But most of it is not. There's way more theater to audition for than film. So
go ahead.
But
do it.
Do it.
I mean, I remember seeing all this extra work for 30 Rock, and guy on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I did Gossip Girl. I was on those.
Yeah. Well, now let's get some more, and let's chronicle it. Of course, you can't bring that stuff on set. They get a little touchy about that.
No, I couldn't. The audition process, fine. Not the the other stuff,
no. If you actually get something, but you can photo walk on the way there. You can Instagram waiting there. There are things we can do.
I will look at what's coming up and see. I'll see. Maybe if enough people out there in Google Plus that are watching, they want me to audition, say they want me to go out and do it, and I have more support from them.
Not just me. I see what you're saying.
I'm just saying that I would just be, if Scott Feinstein or Stein, whatever, can try to get like 1 million plus once to name his kid Luke Skywalker. By the way, he's only got about 1,000. Then I'll take a couple of those. I'll take not necessarily just once, but people
other parents
saying
know
they want me to.
That kid will be beaten up by the Star Trek. I'm sorry, I just said the most ridiculous
they would be
thing.
by Star Trek because they don't like Star Wars.
I was going to say Star Trek and Star Wars beating each other up is virtually.
Although it was funny, there was consolation name. Someone made a joke where it's like if it only reaches X amount, it's like Jar Jar Binks or something like that. I would think you would need more for Jar Jar.
I do have a Star Wars name story. One of my friends, that's all he wanted. Well, actually, two of them wanted Star Trek and Star Wars names. But this one guy, this is their kids now, I don't know, 10 or something. But he said, yeah, we're pregnant, and the baby's name is going to be Lucas, something, something, something. I said,
7.
what?
Name a kid 7. Soda pop.
What? He said, well, we're going to call him Luke. I said, she does know that you named your kid a Star Wars name, right? He goes, she doesn't yet.
Well, Luke is one thing, but Skywalker.
Oh yeah, and another one of my friends adopted a child, and the child was a boy child, but the middle name was Mackenzie, and I guess that's now boy or girl name, but usually I only know girls' name, but that's irrelevant. But I believe they had the child's middle name legally changed to Riker because he loves Star Trek. So there you go.
That poor child. That poor child.
It's fascinating.
So the SAG Awards, I believe Argo won for Best Cast, and which brings up Ben Affleck, and for the longest time, maybe I've talked about it on this show, I don't know, but my Jimmy Kimmel, who's not always okay, I watch him sometimes, he has this long-running joke about bumping Matt Damon, and Matt Damon finally appeared on the show, and they did a whole thing where Matt Damon took over the show, and he had all these Nicole Kidman, Amy Adams, all these people. They even had Sheryl Crow be the band leader, and Andy Garcia be his Guillermo. And I put up a bunch of clips from it, and I was watching it last night, all these different clips. And also Ben Affleck was on, and he was, they referenced everything, with the effing Matt Damon and effing Ben Affleck, and how Ben Affleck had to stay loyal to Jimmy, and said he could, he couldn't do it. He was mad, and then Matt was like, "Come on, Ben!" It was pretty funny, and they brought Robin Williams on to do the monologue to help him, and it was classy, it was fun, and it was funny, and it was, Jimmy Kimmel is one of the reasons why I think early on I didn't really watch Jimmy Kimmel much is because he would get he couldn't get any guests, his guests were really if he got an A-list guest, it's only recent.
That's what I like. I mean, Letterman. I'm not going to say I remember his morning show, but he would have
a morning show.
Yeah, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And he'd have nobody, and that's when he was so brilliant. Because is anybody watching? And that's when the card flipping, actual questions. It's just I love that. I love the desperation. So I'd like to see more of that in your auditions as we wrap up the show for this evening.
See more of that in my auditions? You mean funny?
No.
Listen, you can't panhandle me out of the show. The show has got 5 more minutes. You're trying to throw off the show.
What is that in your hand? She said.
It's the thing that I make the
thing that you make the thing with?
With the sound from the year anniversary show. You want to buy a duck? Does it quack?
When's our Oscar anniversary show?
The Oscars, I'm glad you asked. They're February, I think, 23rd. It's on a Sunday. 24th? 24th. So
my birthday is February 26th, which is not on a Sunday.
So it'll be an Oscar birthday combination. So that'll be, I guess, on Sunday the night before. Although we'll have to figure out how to work it out. Maybe we'll start earlier, and then we'll
need to do some red carpet.
During commercial breaks. I don't really know what's going to happen. I mean,
are we going to do a Super Bowl commercial commentary?
I don't know. The Super Bowl is on this Sunday. I don't know what I don't really know about doing Super Bowl special. We'll see.
That's a big deal.
It's tough. But the following is a new show with Kevin Bacon. Did not watch it yet, but I hear it's quite intense.
Oh yeah, I've heard about it.
Something about serial killers.
So much so, Kevin is under contract for 6 years to the show, for 6 seasons. Well, unless the show's canceled, of course.
So I think it's going to be good?
He's not using credit or anything, but he said, yes, I will do this 6 seasons. So.
And Obama and Hillary Clinton were on 60 Minutes.
Are they going to do a show?
Maybe they will.
10-speed and brown shoe? Anyone? 10-speed and brown shoe? Come on.
They said Obama said Hillary will go down as one of the finest Secretary of States we've had.
She's going down? What?
Yes. Well, that's probably, there's a Monica Lewinsky joke in there, and I just can't find it. And John Kerry's replacing her, da da da, da, which we know, and da 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 da. Do you think, not to get too political, but do you think Hillary is going to run for president in 2016, or she's had enough?
I don't know.
And I guess the following was on tonight. Okay, great. That was great. And Girls is a show we don't watch. I watched part of the first season, but Lena Dunham, we like her on Twitter.
We like her a lot on the Twitter.
Yes, we
funny.
do.
She's a terrific writer on the Twitter.
And I'm just for the shiz and the gigs.
Did you say the shiz?
The shiz and the gigs, because I didn't want to say a bad word. We're going to read a couple of her tweets on air. I don't know if they're copyrighted, but here we go.
Why would they be copyrighted?
I don't know. Maybe someone will watch it and say, what? Her latest tweets, girl stuff I love, Tegan and Sarah. Should I know who that is? I had to open up. That could be, yeah, I don't know who that is. That is some band I don't know from Canada. New album, Claire Danes Looking Sultry.
I know who Claire Danes is.
And Talking Smart in New Elle magazine. Now, I just know her from Homeland. I'm sure she's smart. Juliet Barnes and Olivia Pope. I don't really know them, should I? She said her show, Girls, is about how hard your 20s are, yet she fully lacerates herself when she makes an age-appropriate mistake.
Okay, the other tweets are really a lot more fun.
Ha ha.
Trust me. Trust me.
I wish I didn't have to stage my apartment tonight. Okay. Well, so maybe she's lost. She did win a couple of awards, and maybe she's slacking. And do you have warts?
Right.
This is a quote from her mother. Do you have warts? Because tomorrow is a full moon. You can get rid of them by taking garlic on during a full moon, which tomorrow is. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's insane.
If only I had a mother like that. So thank you for the entertainment. Now that we have 0,000,000 viewers, that was the PLUStainment Show for this week, ending in 31 January. February, we'll be back in the month of February for Oscars and more. Good night, Jane Ellen. Good night, world. Good night, Grover's Corners.